Okay, boys, we are back to the channel with episode 3 of our Seattle Kraken franchise mode. But before we get started, I just want to take a quick second to say thank you guys so much for all the recent support, because the past couple of videos have done crazy good. We're up ahead of 200 subscribers now, which I know in the long run is not that many, but for me, that's pretty dang good. So I will take that, and thank you guys so much for all the recent support. And since there are a bunch of new people into the channel, let's go through how this series works. It's a franchise mode. We simulate every single game, and unlike most franchise modes where, you know, the creator kind of has full control of everything, we take people's thoughts and opinions into account here. And so we have a first instance of that in the last one, where a hockey fan says you should make a splash and trade for a big name player next offseason. A great player like Tim Stützle on the Senators could really help the team out. He's having a great year in Ottawa and tends to sim quite well in my game. And then he says he can play the first line center position, and that is definitely something that we can look at in the offseason. A guy like Tim Stützle could really help this team out, because the Kraken, you know, they're a decent team, but basically our team identity is depth. You know, we have pretty much our entire team is between 87 and 83 overall, with, you know, a couple of guys on the fourth line being a little bit below that. But I have gone ahead and made some line changes because we've been simulating quite poorly over the last couple of games. So that's what offense looks like. Defense looks like this with Vince Dunn, Brennan Montour. Riker Evans is going up to the second line because Riker Evans and Josh Mahura were minus 11 together. So we're going to try to spread the wealth out a little bit. And in goal, I've also scratched Jaden Schwartz, and in goal we're going to go with Philip Grubauer ahead of Joey Decord. I've put into the lineup, the biggest change here is I put into the lineup Brandon Tanev, and then our second line is now Bjorkstrand, Stevenson, and Burakovsky instead of Tolvanen, Stevenson, and Burakovsky. So just some minor changes here, but in the last one, if you didn't watch it, we went through 41 games. We have a record of 20, 19, and 2, which puts us just barely in a wild card position. You know, we're fighting with Utah, the Predators, of course. We're in that spot, and we're fighting with the Kings in our division. But then also we can still catch the Canucks and the Oilers, who have 45 points to our 42. So we're not out of this thing by any means, but we do want to see some improvement in this video. We need probably 25 wins out of our next 41 games, probably. So we need to go like 25 and 16, which I think is something that we can do. We need to just go above 500. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into this one and see if we can take down the Columbus Blue Jackets while we start this road trip here. First game of the video, let's make it a good one. And here we go. First period, let's go to work, boys. Come on, we need a win streak here early. First period, that's going to be 1-0 for Columbus. It's Kirill Marchenko scoring on Grubauer. All right, offense, let's wake up. Second period now, it's 2-2. Okay, we tie the game. Jordan Eberle scores in that first line. Sean Corrali gets them back up by 1, but then Chandler Stevenson scores to tie us up at 2s. So here we are, third period underway. We are out shooting them, but the score remains even. Can we find a good start to this video? No, we cannot, as Damon Severson scores to make this a 3-2 game. Power play opportunity for Seattle goes nowhere. And unfortunately, the boys are not playing too strong right now. I need some offense here. 35 shots for us. Power play late in the game, and we don't get anything. And Sean Monahan seals the deal with a goal against Philip Grubauer. That's going to be the game. Despite our 38 shots, Elvis Merzlikins makes 36 saves to get his team the win. And we get shut down by a very hot goaltender in Elvis Merzlikins. That is unfortunate news right there. So it looks like we are on a bit of a 5-game road trip. Yeah, we are. So I'd love to see 3 wins out of these 5 games here to get us above that 500 mark. And the teams that we're playing are not too strong, although Buffalo, of course, is. That's how you know it's an EA simulation, when Buffalo is a playoff team. But here we go. We have 5 games. I want to see 3 wins. Buffalo, that is a... Chandler Stevenson has been injured. Fantastic. I love this game. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, so here are going to be the new lines. Because we have the injury to Chandler Stevenson, it means we really have to rely more on our center depth. So Matty Beniers is going to center the first line with Eli Tolvanen and Kaapo Kakko. Second line is going to be Andre Burakovsky, Jared McCann, and Jordan Eberle. Third line will be Oliver Bjorkstrand with Yanni Gourde and Jaden Schwartz. And then our fourth line will be Ty Cartier, sorry. Somebody told me how to pronounce his name. I'm going to try that. Cartier, I think, Cartier. with Shane Wright and Brandon Tanev on the fourth line. And then the defense will remain the same, I think, or should I change it? Let's go back to the lines that got us the strong start. And then Joey Decord, we need you to step up, my brother, because you actually 908 is pretty decent, but I need less goals against average, please. So let's stop the sim here because of EA's still have this glitch in the game for some reason. Okay. So we have an overtime win to Buffalo. That's good. Followed by a shootout loss. So at least we're getting some points here. We are still in our playoff spot, although we do have way more games played than the rest of the people around us. So that's why we need to go on a bit of a win streak. Now the next two teams, they are below 500. We have to win these games, man. Come on. Let's go here, boys. The 16-23-6 Pittsburgh Penguins is a 5-2 win. Nice. Followed by, hang on, we're on a win streak. So followed by the 17, there we go, the 17-25-4 Winnipeg Jets. We beat them 2-1, and now we are on a win streak. 23-20-3 are the Seattle Kraken. And hang on, we have that first wild card spot. Are these the lines that can help us out here, boys? The next two games, we are at home for, what, a 4-game homestand? Let's give me 2 wins out of these 4 games here, guys. That's what I want to see. The LA Kings, that's going to be a 2-1 loss. That's unfortunate, but it's a close game at least, and we're keeping the puck out of the net. In our last 3 games, we have an average of like, what, 1.75 goals against average or something. So that is nice to see. Buffalo, that's going to be a 4-2 win. These lines are getting it done for me, so I'm going to keep them out there as long as possible. Washington now. Josh Mahora has been injured. That's a really tough one because we don't have anybody we can bring up on defense. So Chandler Stevenson's going to have to jump in there. Washington 5-2 loss. Yeah, of course, when you don't have our defense playing. All right, so we got to hope for no more injuries, basically. But here are the Pittsburgh Penguins. They have a bad record. Let's try to get a win over them. And then we have the Oilers, who's a really huge game. Pittsburgh, that's going to be okay, Coachella player has been injured. Pittsburgh, 4-3 loss. Man, that's rough. We just went on such a good win streak. We won. Actually, it wasn't a crazy win streak, but it was like 3 out of, I guess it was only 3 out of 5. But it was a decent stretch of games to keep us above 500. But that loss to Pittsburgh really hurts. We are still in the second wild card spot. We are 1 point ahead of Utah. We are 3 points ahead of the Blackhawks. We are 4 points ahead of the Predators. And we're like 7 points ahead of the Sharks. So we're in an okay position here. Problem is, Edmonton, this is a big game. The Oilers are only 2 points ahead of us. So this is a huge game right here. Let's jump in and watch it, actually. So here we are in the game. I believe we are in Edmonton, so that's not great. I think, where do they play out of? Rogers Arena or something like that, I think. So here we go. First period. Let's go, boys. I need a win. First period. That's going to be 3-0 for Seattle. Bjorkstrand, Eberle, and Jaden Schwartz get on the board for me, and that's a huge first period. Now, do not collapse, boys. Let's go. Second period. Oh, my God. We're collapsing. We're Joey Decord, man. We're collapsing hard. 3-2 going into the third period. Seattle Kraken fans everywhere are biting their nails as the third period starts here, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins scores to tie this at 3, and Edmonton has all the momentum, and Connor McDavid hasn't even seen the score sheet yet, but Jordan Eberle, hang on, our captain comes through. Power play opportunity now. This is huge. At least we killed 2 minutes off the clock, but we don't get a goal on it, which is unfortunate. And now, McDavid and Draisaitl are playing like the last 3 minutes. Power play. What a kill from our penalty killers. What a kill. And that's going to be the game. And it's a huge game to get us 2 points and to stop Edmonton from getting 2 points. It's a 4-point swing in our direction thanks to Captain Jordan Eberle getting us 2 goals and the game winner. What a game from us. Okay, so the next 2 games, Anaheim and San Jose. I'm not too worried about either of these 2 teams, but I will stop the simulation on the third. Actually, we'll just go to the 31st and then I'll do the scouts then. But we are at home against Anaheim. That's going to be a 4-3 loss. Of course it is. At least it's only our AHL players getting injured, so I'll take that. Josh Mahura is fully back. Let me edit these lines. Okay, boys, so these are going to be the new lines. It looks like our top 3 lines are actually playing quite well. Tolvanen, Beniers, and Kakko are about of 0 or so. The second line is doing very strong, though. Burakovsky at +5, Jared McCann at +5, and Jordan Eberle at +5. Before, Jordan Eberle and Jared McCann, who both played on the first line, were around a -1 or 2, so they've been +6 in their last like 5 or 6 games. Then we have Schwartz, who's a +5, Yanni Gourde's a +9, and Bjorkstrand, who's a 0. So they're doing okay as well. And then this fourth line was struggling a little bit here. Ty Cartier is down to a +5, Chandler Stevenson a -7, and Shane Wright a -7. So that's a bit unfortunate. On defense, we have what, minus 10 for the bottom two pairs, but the first two pairs are doing so strong that I can't exactly change them. Larson's a plus 25, Alexei's a plus 13, and then Brendan Montour's a minus 5, but Vince Dunn is a plus 3. So they're both doing their thing, and Brendan Montour also has 35 points in about 50 games. So I'm not going to make any changes that way. I don't know why we're letting in so many goals though, because our penalty kill is so strong. So it just feels like it's 5-on-5 offense. It's just not going our way. But we do have a good penalty kill, like a top 10 penalty kill, I think. San Jose, that's a 3-2 loss. Okay, great. Let me do the scouts and then I'll get back to you guys. All right, gentlemen, so we are in the second wild card position with 53 points. Unfortunately, the Blackhawks and the Utah Hockey Club and even the Predators all have less games played than us, and they're only like one point behind us, basically. So that's not exactly ideal. We need to win, and we need to win like right now. I need like 20 wins out of our next like what, 38 games. I need like 20 wins, maybe more than 20 wins, to be honest. It's 28 games also, by the way. So I need 20 wins in 28 games. Can we do that? Probably not, but we're gonna try. Here we go. Calgary, they're a bad team. Detroit, they're an okay team. They're like us, basically. Toronto, they're good, and then Calgary again. So we can get 2 wins against Calgary, and then we get the Four Nations little break here. Maybe I'll look for some trades during that time. But for right now, I need 3 wins out of these next 4 games, please. That would be great. Okay, you're fully healed. Just best lines. Let's see. The Blues have fired their head coach Drew Bannister. We might need him, to be honest, but let's just continue playing for now, and let's stop the sim. There's a win against Calgary. Hang on. Let's continue. Toronto. Detroit. That's going to be a 3-2 overtime loss. Okay, but if we win the next 2 games, I will take a 3-0-1 record in our last 4. That would be nice. Come on, boys. Give me wins here. Give me wins. Toronto, they're a good team. That's a 4-2 win. Come on, Calgary sucks. 4-2 win. Okay, let's go. And that is a 3-0-1 in our last 4 games. And we are back now. We are back in the first wildcard position. And unfortunately, we are only 1 point ahead of the Stars, who have 2 games less played than us. Yeah, see, this is the rough part, is like, we've played so many more games than everybody else. We just need to win constantly. All right, guys, that was a big 3 out of 4 wins there. A huge week from us. And now we get the Four Nations tournament. Who's going to win that? Is it going to be Canada? Is it going to be the U.S.? I mean, both teams look fairly similar, although Canada doesn't really have a goaltend there. But, you know, they do have McDavid, McKinnon, Crosby, all those guys. So you can't count Canada out. But now break is over. We get back to our regular season. All these AHL players getting injured and coming back. And we have a tough 2 games up against Florida and then Tampa, who have amazing records. So here we go. Florida, I need 1 out of these 2 wins here. There's a 5-1 win against the Florida Panthers. That is huge. What were they? They were 34-19-4. They're now 34-20-4. After we are able to beat them, and that means we have 62 points in 58 games played. We are barely out of the divisional playoff spot. I'm loving how this is going so far. And then we do have the Lightning. Where are the Lightning? The Lightning are like top of their division. Yeah, 72 points top of their division with Florida. So they're a really strong team as well. If we don't beat them, that's okay. We do have St. Louis after that. Tampa, second game back. Oh my God, what a win streak we're on right now. This is 4 straight and 2 in a row back-to-back days against a Florida and a Tampa team who are at the top of their division. That is amazing playing from us, and it means we are still in the second wild card, unfortunately, but we can get into the divisional spot here, up against the St. Louis Blues now. St. Louis, they're a horrible team, so of course we're going to lose 6-0 to them, right? 7-2 win. Okay, that is 5 straight now, and Seattle's on a little bit of a run here. Let's keep it going. Vancouver, this is a big game against Vancouver, actually. They are 4 points ahead of us in the division, but only 1 less game played, so we can catch them still, maybe, if we keep this streak up. But more importantly, is a game against the Oilers, which was all the way down here on the 22nd. So Vancouver, it's an important game, not the most important. It's unlikely that we're going to catch them, but it's still possible. So let's get another win here. Let's make it 6 in a row, boys. That is a 4-3 overtime loss. At least we still get points. And have we found any distinction here in the second wild card? We sort of have here. The Stars are 63 points to our 67. The Predators are 60 points to our 67. So we are fairly comfortable here. The Kings are below us with only 2 points below us. but I am sort of liking where we are. Of course, a wild card position in the West means we're going to have to go up against a juggernaut in the first round of the playoffs, but we can still catch the Oilers, who are only 1 point ahead of us. So our next game against Minnesota, then we have Nashville. Nashville's a pretty important game. I think the Predators, yeah, a little bit. They're 7 points behind us, but it'd be nice to get a win against them, and then we can jump into the trade deadline and see what I want to do there, what we need on this roster. But first up, let's play these 2 games in front of us. Let's get a win here. 1 out of 2 wins is what I need. Oh, and Eli Tolvanen's been injured for a month. He's injured until March 11th. That is very, very bad. Let me replace the player, but then let me stop the sim. Minnesota, it's a 3-2 shootout win. Great to see a win there. And then next up against Nashville. Okay, so these are going to be the new forward lines now. We have Jaden Schwartz here replacing Eli Tolvanen on the first line. Keeps the +2. Matty Beniers is now an 89 overall, ladies and gentlemen. 89 overall. That's amazing. Great skater, great senses, great defense. Amazing, amazing stuff as our first line center. Capo Caco is an 83 overall. He loves playing on the first line. He's check marks everywhere. We just need to get somebody like a Jared McCann. Does this give it a +5? Would it? No, still +2. Okay, because Caco doesn't have any X factors. But the second line is doing great things as well. Jordan Eberle is +8. Jared McCann is +4. Andre Burakovsky is +10. Third line, Brendan Tanev is just in there because of the injury replacement. But Yanni Gourde is +12, Bjorkstrand is +1, and then the fourth line is not great. Shane Wright's a -4, Chandler Stevenson's a -6, but Ty Cartier is a +7, so he's at least locking it down for me. Defensively now, we do have Vince Dunn at a +13, 87 overall, and Brendan Montour at a +7, 88 overall. So great stuff from them. Second line, +19 and +28. And then the third line, they were about a -11. Let's see if they've grown. No, they're pretty much the same, if not a little bit worse. So at the trade deadline, I'm probably looking to switch up this bottom pair. Most likely here, Joey Daccord is doing much better than he was at the halfway point, so I will gladly take that. He has found his game here. And now we have the last game before the trade deadline, and then I'm probably going to make some moves. Maybe we'll jump into the trade deadline because it's the first year. Usually I don't jump into it, but sometimes there's some good deals that you can find. So let's see what we get from Nashville here after a big win against the Minnesota Wild. So first period, that's going to be 3-1 for Nashville, and Joey Daccord has I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is. That's a bad period from Joey Daccord. Let's help him out here, offense. Second period now, okay, 3-2. We make it a 1-goal game going into the third period. Can we find one on Jussi Saros? It's not an easy thing to do, but if anybody can do it, it's our offense here. I say that like we're the Tampa Bay Lightning's first line. We are not, but we do have the depth. Anybody can score on this team. Power play opportunity goes nowhere. That's unfortunate. And then Roman Josi is going to score to give Nashville a 4-2 lead here. But hang on, Burakovsky gives us back within 10 minutes remain. This is definitely enough time to score another one and tie this thing up, at least get a point out of this game. Can we squeak a point out? 2 minutes, 1 minute. Do I have a hero? No, I do not. 4-3 loss to Nashville. That's a tough one to lose. Tommy Novak with 3 points, Luke Evangelista with 3 points, Roman Josi with 2 points. And that is a bit of a rough one to lose, but after beating the Minnesota Wild, it kind of feels like we deserve that. We kind of, Minnesota is a very strong team. So going, we had that 5-game win streak, which was great back in early to late February. That was great. And then we went 0-1. We went 1-1 in our last 3 before the trade deadline. Let me sim to the 7th here and look around the league at things that might entice me. Okay, boys, so here's what I am thinking. Now, Josh Mahura has not been great for us. He's -15 on the season. He can play the left and the right, but he only has 14.60 games. The big thing is he's -15. He's only playing 13 minutes a night. I've gone through all the teams, and I think Eric Johnson can help us out. He's a +13 on a team that is barely 500. They're 29-34, so they're NHL 500 because they're 29, 28, and 6, but we all know they're 29 and 34. That's not exactly good, but he's a +13 despite that, and he's playing high minutes for them, and they want to trade him. Now, they don't want Josh Mahura, so I've thrown in a little prospect here, Vili Otavainen, maybe? Otavainen, something like that? Otavainen? That seems about right. He was a 4th-round pick in 2021, so I don't think Seattle fans are going to be too upset with me for trading him away. We get Erik Johnson into the team as well. Stanley Cup winner, 36-year-old veteran who can help out Riker Evans on defense and probably bring a bit of stability to our team. I think this is a pretty strong pick for us. I mean, Erik Johnson's not going to light it up or anything. He's just a defensive defenseman, help bring our goals against average down. And then I'll jump into the trade deadline. This is not in the minigame trade deadline. This is just, I'm just looking at things before that day right now. So Philadelphia, what do you say? You get a pick and you get a young Josh Mahora, 80 overall, who can still grow a little bit maybe. What do you say to it? And you want to get rid of Erik Johnson, so I think it makes sense here. We have trade difficulty on hard, so let's see what they say. They accept that. We consider it a done deal on behalf of the Flyers. I think it's a fair trade, and I think so as well. So we will get Erik Johnson into the lineup. Okay, so that gives it a 0, so I'll take that. Riker Evans is a -12, so we'll keep an eye on their plus-minus, and we'll be able to see Erik Johnson's games played with us to see how he performs with us. Now, something else that I'm realizing is if I take you over to the contract screen, we will see that we have some expiring deals. Guys like Yanni Gourde, Capo Caco is a big one for us, and they want some money. Now, Caco is asking for $5.425 million. Problem is, of course, that we only have $2.895 million to dish out in free agency. So, because of that, we are really hamstrung. We're probably not bringing Erik Johnson back. Don't have to worry about him. Brennan Tanev, maybe we bring him back, but again, I'm not too worried about him. He only wants $2 million, not that crazy. Riker Evans, I would like to bring back actually on a pretty decent contract. What does he want? He wants 2 years, $2 million. It's actually a pretty good deal. And so we don't have any big boys that we have to sign, but we do have a lot of role players that we need to sign, and Capo Caco being a big one for us. Now, goaltending-wise, we don't have anybody there, but I will say we need to free up a little bit of cap, I think, at this trade deadline if we want to make these moves to keep these players, especially at Capo Caco, throughout the season. Now, Vince Dunn has a no-trade clause, so does Brendan Montour, so does Chandler Stevenson, but we could get rid of somebody like a Jaden Schwartz here. I know he's been on the team for a long time. He was an original Seattle Kraken, but he's only 84 overall. He's 32. He's playing like third, fourth line time on our roster. He just doesn't really have a spot. Now he does have 30 points in 61 games played, which is pretty decent. It's basically tying what he did with us last season and the year before that. But he's not a huge piece, and it's somebody that we could give up if there's a good deal for him. So I might look to shop Jaden Schwartz at the trade deadline. Similarly, I might look to shop Oliver Bjorkstrand on a modified no-trade clause, just because these two guys, they're not doing crazy things for us, although Bjorkstrand's actually playing very well. So I think Jaden Schwartz is the easier sell. Now Jared McCann's not going anywhere. Jordan Everly can't get traded. Jimmy Alexiak, again, same type of thing. We could go for a Jimmy Alexiak, try to trade him away, but he's been so good on our second line. I don't think we're going to do that. And then after that, we have really nobody else that we need to worry about. So I think a Jaden Schwartz, we could look to trade him. And then in doing so, we would be able to re-sign a Capo Caco and like Riker Evans for league minimum. Similarly, we could go for Philip Grubauer. We could try to trade him. He is making $5.9 million for the next, 2 years after this one, and he's only 83 overall, so trading him could free up a lot of money for us, and that could also allow us to bring up, do we have anybody to bring up? No, we don't, but we could go out and just pick up a goalie for pretty cheap, like an 80 overall goalie to be the backup to Joey Decord. So these are all things that I'm thinking about going into the trade deadline. But now let's enter in and let's see what's available. We would be a conservative buyer, I guess. Yeah, let's go conservative buyer, and then I'll just do the trade block how I want. So enter the trade deadline. We have Grubauer on the block. We have Jaden Schwartz on the block, all that stuff. So let's see who is up for grabs, because in the trade deadline, if you don't know, the big names become available. So this one's not too crazy. We do have some 86 overall players, 85 overall Ivan Provorov. Mikael Granlund is here. So is Carter Hart, which we're not picking up. I don't even know why he's in the game. Andrei Kuzmenko, GT Confirm, Matt Wall, all these guys here who have some decent trade value. Now for me, I'm going to change the trade block real quick. Okay, boys, so here we are. I don't think this is going to go through, but I want to test it out. Jaden Schwartz for Sean Corrali and Jordan Dumais. something like that, from the Columbus Blue Jackets. Jordan is a low elite player, 74 overall, at only 20 years old, and he doesn't have crazy trade value. I don't think this is going to go through. It looks like it's in their favor a lot more than ours. But what would you say to this for Jaden Schwartz? He's 5.5 mil, but he's only really playing like 10 minutes a night. He's playing our fourth line time. He is a +4, but it's not the end of the world if we lose him, I don't think. And it frees up money for next season when we can sign Capo Caco. What do you say, Columbus? Rejected, woefully insufficient. Yeah, I kind of figured. I was just throwing up a prayer. Yeah, you know what? What if we don't take back Sean Corrali? We just go Jaden Schwartz for Jordan Dumais. Can you throw in like a pick as well? I just don't. I want to get as much as I can out of this if they would accept this deal. Like, can we get a fifth next year? Would that be too crazy? That'd probably be a little too crazy, huh? What do you say? Rejected. Not meeting our block needs quite well. Okay, what about a 6 next year? This is how you got to whittle down the AI, boys. Just get everything you possibly can. A 6 next year. Rejected. The value isn't sufficient at all. 7th. What do you say? A 7th in Jordan Dumais for Jaden Schwartz. Too far off. Okay, so just straight up. Can we get Jordan Dumais for Jaden Schwartz? I don't know if he's going to grow that much. He's only 20 years old, but we're taking a chance on a guy. He's a right winger. He's a sniper. He's got decent shot power, good offensive awareness, good puck skills. He's not very physical. He's short, but he's an okay skater. We're taking a bit of a shot on this guy. But who knows, in 2-3 years, he might be able to be like 84, 85 overall. Probably not that high. What am I saying? But maybe he's probably like 78 in 2 years. Maybe after like 5 years when he stops growing, he can be up to like an 85 overall, maybe. And this frees up money for us in the future, which is really the main thing that we have to do. So straight up, let's just see if I can milk something. Hang on. Here we go. Something like this. A Nick Bonino. He can just be a penalty killer for us. He has no trade value basically at all. Nick Bonino, they want to trade him. What do you say? Dumais and Nick Bonino for Jaden Schwartz. What do you say? Rejected. Sweeten the value just a touch. Okay, so it would go through straight up. Now, do I want to make this deal? Schwartz and Dumais. Schwartz is playing fourth line time, third line time. We have guys who can replace him on the roster. So, Schwartz, we thank you so much for your service. You were an original Seattle Kraken joining the team back in 2021. It is now 2025, and it's time that we have to say goodbye to you. You've been a minus player your entire career here in Seattle, except for this year when you've been a +4. You're not on the power play. You are on the penalty kill, but that's fine. We can fix up somebody else. You take it away more than you give it away. And Jaden Schwartz, we thank you so much for your service. It's time for you to go over to Columbus, though, because we want to pick up this prospect, Jordan Dumais. I don't know if this is really a good deal, but I'm taking a chance on a guy, and we can't really keep all this money on the block anyway because of the way that Seattle salary cap is looking. So, Jaden Schwartz, thank you. We will see you in Columbus. We accept your trade offer. We pick up a prospect, and oh boy. All right, boys, I'm also going to make another move here, just really a depth move. We're going to trade away Andre Loshko. He was a 4th-round pick in 2023, so I don't think anybody's too attached to him. He's only medium top 9 potential, so he's probably not going to be really anything. Maybe he'll get to 80 overall, 81 overall, something like that, but probably not going to be anything crazy. We're going to pick up Matt Nieto, an 80 overall, just a depth guy for us, depth piece we can throw in there if things start to go a little bit wrong. And we're also going to pick up Ryan Shea from the Pittsburgh Penguins. Ryan Shea is only 76 overall, but he can be like a 6th or 7th defenseman if the pairing of Eric Johnson and Riker Evans doesn't really work out. So we'll do this trade. They're going to accept this because this was just a straight up trade offer that I looked for. It looked like a fine trade just to see what other value I can get because I needed some depth pieces. I need a forward and a defenseman just to see what is good. They accept that. We consider it a done deal. And I think that's going to do it for my trade deadline now. So I'm going to back out and I'll show you guys all the trades that were made, the important ones anyway. All right, so there's a bunch of trades to get through here, so I'm just going to run through them really fast, just the important ones. So we have Tyler Bertuzzi went to Winnipeg, and Chicago picked up Colby Barlow and Nikita Chibrikov. I believe Colby Barlow was a 1st-round pick last year, so that's interesting. Marcus Pettersson goes to the Rangers for a 1st-round pick. Wow. Pierre-Olivier Joseph goes to Edmonton. Matt Waugh goes to Montreal. Winnipeg also gets JT Compher and Christian Fischer. So Winnipeg got JT Compher and Tyler Bertuzzi, so they are gearing up for a run. Connor Clifton goes to Anaheim and Tyler Tullio for a 1st. What the heck? That's crazy. Frank Vetrano goes to Buffalo. Ivan Provorov goes to Nashville. That's actually a big move. We have to keep our eyes on that. Nashville picks up Ivan Provorov. Andrei Kuzmenko goes to Utah. Brian Dumoulin to Edmonton as well. Tyler Johnson is back in Tampa Bay. Jacob Chychrun, oh, this is a huge one. Jacob Chychrun goes from Washington to Carolina. Washington picks up 2 first-round picks and Jackson Blake from Carolina. What a huge trade. Oh my gosh. And look at this. Matthew Joseph gets a first-round pick, bro. Seattle or St. Louis is fleecing Vancouver. What the heck is that? Lehkonen goes to Washington. Colorado picked up Ethan Bear, which would be a crazy trade in the real world, but in this one, Lehkonen is not an amazing player. Mikael Granlund also goes to San Jose. Oh my gosh. Also goes to Colorado. So Colorado makes some big moves. Obviously, we have our move where we pick up Jordan Dumais and Jaden Schwartz. Luke Kunin goes to Montreal. Teuvo Teravainen goes to Utah. Matt Grzelcyk back to Nashville. I believe he was there before. Philadelphia picks up Carter Hart once again. We're not even going to talk about that. Chaz Lucius goes to Toronto for a 3rd. Max Pacioretty and a 6th. So Toronto has Chaz Lucius in their system now. We pick up Matt Nieto and Ryan Shea, and then Andrew Kopp and Cam Talbot both go to LA. They are not in a playoff position, so I don't know what they're doing. They're sacrificing a 2nd and a 6th for Andrew Kopp, and then some picks being swapped up there. So a crazy trade deadline, a lot of moves being made, and let me show you the team. Okay, boys, so these are going to be the lines. We have Tolvanen, Beniers, Kakko. Basically, it all looks the same, except Brendan Tanev gets in on that 3rd line instead of Jaden Schwartz with Yanni Gordon, Bjorkstrand. And then we have Shane Wright, Chandler Stevenson, and Ty Cartier. If things go wrong, of course, we can go Stevenson up to this 3rd line and then put Shane Wright in the center, and we can get +1/+1 that way. But I'm going to try out with the lines that got us here and got us to the position that we are currently in and see how that goes. In goal, of course, we have Joey Daccord and Philip Grubauer. And then on defense, things look the same. Vince Dunn, Montour, Alexei Eklarson, Riker Evans with Eric Johnson instead of that being Josh Mahora. So let's hope that the boys can get stuff done. And then scratched, I'm going to throw Jordan Dumais down to the AHL, but these 2 guys will stay up. So let me do that real quick. Okay, so Jordan Dumais is down there playing all of his time and, playing first line time, first line power play, all that stuff. And now we can finally get back to the simulation. So here we go, up against Philadelphia. So wow, look at this. Eric Johnson is playing his old team. And of course, we also have Josh Mahura playing his old team as well. So here we are up against the Philadelphia Flyers. Let's get a win here to start off the last 20 games of the season strong. First period, that's going to be 1-0 for Philadelphia. It's Travis Sanheim short-handed on Joey Daccord. Come on, boys. Power play's got to be better than that. Second period, now that's 4-1, and the boys blow up. It's Vince Dunn, Andrei Burakovsky, Kaapo Kakko, and Bjorkstrand, and we demolish that man. I'm not even going to say his name because he doesn't deserve it. Here we go. Third period underway. And let's get this one done and dusted. Power play. Oh, and they score another shorthanded goal. Is Ryan Poehling this time. Montreal prospect way back in the day. Montreal fans, sorry to bring that back up. 5 minutes remain here in the third period, and it looks like this is going to be a comfortable win for the Seattle Kraken. 5-2 victory. Joey Daccord does his thing. He makes 28 saves on 30 shots. Bjorkstrand with 3 points. Yanni Gord with 2, and Kaapo Kakko with 2 as well. All right, so after that win, we do have another back-to-back here against Washington. Then we go home for 3 games, so that's nice. Let's see this game up against Washington. Can we get 2 in a row with the new team? And yes, we can. That's a 3-2 victory, and Eli Tolvanen is fully healed, but he's already in the lineup, so we can just continue on. The next 2 games are up against the Montreal Canadiens and the Utah Hockey Club. The Canadiens, that's going to be a 4-1 victory, and that is 3 straight now. Up against Utah, that is a 2-1 victory. And the boys, we have learned how to keep the puck out of the net. It was our biggest problem coming into the second half of the season. And now look at this. In the last 4 games, 2 goals against, 2 goals against, 1 goal against, 1 goal against. Hopefully it's Eric Johnson doing his thing back there. But even if it's not, I'm not changing the lines now. We have 77 points. We are currently in a divisional playoff spot, boys. So up against Winnipeg, they are not a strong team. Then we go on the road for Chicago and Minnesota back to back. And yeah, we have a bit of a road trip here, a long road trip. But Winnipeg, that is a 2-1 loss. Okay, but we keep the puck out of the net for another game. Okay, so 2 back-to-back, Chicago and Minnesota here. Chicago's a bad team. Minnesota's a good team. I want 1 out of these 2 wins. We have dropped with that loss with Winnipeg. We did drop out of a divisional playoff spot. The Kings, looks like they made a good push here. And Edmonton's actually a huge game. It looks like we do have the wild card pretty much locked up, considering the Stars are at 67 points, the Preds are at 66. Our division is really tough. Everybody is pretty good in our division, but let's get 2 out of these next 3 wins. I would love to see that. Chicago, that's a 5-2 win. Minnesota, that's a 4-1 win. And the boys are rolling now. Let's go. Edmonton and Calgary, of course, we have the Western Canada road trip before we come back home against Edmonton. These games against Edmonton are huge ones because, you know, we're fighting in the same division. We are 3 points ahead of them. So this is a 4-point swing here. Actually, it's really an 8-point swing in the next 3 games. So let's get some wins against Edmonton. I would love to at least get 1 of these wins. That would be nice. It's a 3-1 win, and we're on a 3-game winning streak. Calgary, they're a horrible team. Can we get our confidence? Yes, we can. 7-5. The Kraken are rolling here. Edmonton now at home in Climate Pledge Arena. It's pumping. Oh my gosh, I was gonna say such a good road trip. We go. What do we go? We go 1, 2, 3. We win all 4 games on the road. Then, of course, we come home and we lose 4-3 to Edmonton, but they're a strong team and they have a lot of pieces, of course. With 85 points on the year, our wild card is looking pretty okay. But I mean, actually, I will say Utah and the Preds have gone on a bit of a win streak here. Now we have 40 wins on the season, so let's keep this rolling. 2 games back-to-back against Dallas. Dallas is they are in a divisional spot for them. We're not really competing with them with a wild card. Actually, we could be. So these could be important games. Actually, give me 1 out of 2 wins. Right now, if we go 500 hockey for the rest of the season, we should be good. 7-1 victory. Hang on. Thanks to EA. I mean, we don't want to celebrate, but thanks to EA, we can take a look at these box scores. 7-1 victory here. Let me see. Record book. Box scores right here. So in this 7-1 game, who was rolling? It was the first line. Eli Tolvanen, Matty Beniers, Jamie Alexiak with 2 points. He hasn't done that very much in his career, I don't think. Bjorkstrand with 2, Adam Larson, Chandler Stevenson, Jared McCann, Vince Dunn, Brendan Montour, Brendan Tanev, Capo Caco. Capo Caco only had 1 point despite his other line mates having like 4. Wow. Okay, good job. First line did their thing, and Dallas, their stats probably wouldn't look very good. Now, okay, we actually have dropped back to a divisional spot. We are 1 point behind the Kings, which is unfortunate. We're 3 points behind the Canucks. So this is a big game against the Canucks here. In the wild card, we look okay. We are 5 points ahead of Utah, 6 points ahead of the Stars. Can't get too complacent here, but I would love to see a win against Vancouver. That would be very nice. That is a come on, boys. We're great on the road. 3-2 loss. That's unfortunate. Now, San Jose's a bad team. Can we get a win against them here? San Jose, that is a 4-2 win. Okay, at least we don't get too much of a losing streak. 77 games played. We are 2 points behind the Kings. So this is a big game against the Kings here. We could tie the Kings with a win tonight. Should we jump in? We do also play the Kings the last game of the season. That might be higher stakes. No, let's jump in right here. Seattle versus the Kings. Let's go. In LA, yeah, we're in LA. We're in the crypto arena. I don't know why it's called that, but it'll always be the Staples Center to me. Here we go. In the Staples Center. First period, 0-0. Both of these teams are playing this like it's playoff hockey, and it is showing. 14 shots for LA, 6 shots for us. Let's get some more shots on goal here. Second period, 1-0 for LA. 25 shots to 15. Adrian Kempe is going to score on the power play. Can't hold them off forever. Third period underway. We need some offense here, boys. Starting off strong with a couple of shots on goal, and Eli Tolvanen is going to tie us up back at ones against Darcy Kemper from a bad angle. And then Vince Dunn is going to blast one from the point past him. And hang on, Seattle has made a third period comeback early here in the third. But then Drew Doughty, he was on the trade block at the trade deadline. But they decide to keep him, and he shows them why. But then Eli Tolvanen with his second of the night, and that's a late one, and it's going to be the game winner. And Seattle takes 2 points away from LA with a 3-goal third period to cement their 2 points over LA. That's huge. 3 stars of the night are, of course, Tolvanen with 2 goals. Joey Daccord had an amazing game with 31 saves, and Matty Beniers with 2 assists. A great game from us, and we end it in regulation as well, so we don't even let the Kings get 1 point, and that does put us in a divisional spot. So now it's us and the Kings really fighting for this divisional spot. I guess the Oilers are in the fight as well. The Oilers had a rough last 40 games because they were in a good spot at the start of this video, and then they kind of fell off. So let's see, the next 2 games away in Utah, that's a 2-1 loss, unfortunate. And then Vegas, they're a very strong team, but that's a 3-2 loss. Okay, yeah, so we're probably out of the divisional spot now because the Kings are they have 1 less game played and we have tied points. We still haven't clinched a playoff spot, which is kind of scary. How can we lose a playoff spot? We need, what would it have to be? I feel like we've clinched the playoffs. I don't think there's any team that can possibly catch us. Or I guess, no, because the Wild, even if they won both of their games, they would only tie us. We would just need 1 point in the next 2 games, and they would have their divisional spot already, so it wouldn't matter. I feel like we've clinched, even though it hasn't said we have technically clinched. Some crazy shenanigans would have to happen, I think. Here we go. Up against Seattle, they suck. And then LA. Let's see what we can do up against the St. Louis Blues. 24-48-8. Did I call them Seattle? I think I did. New coach with Dan Bilesma. What are you telling me? Is this to tell us that we made the playoffs? We set out to make the playoffs this season, and now we've officially clinched a spot. The team is ready for the challenge ahead. I know they are, coach. The fans are going to be happy because it's been 2 years since Seattle has clinched a spot, and we get a shootout loss in that one, but we get a point, and that clinches the playoffs for us. Hang on, the bottom screen's being weird. And with a win tonight and LA losing, oh my gosh, okay, so we could get a divisional spot here because we are playing LA. This game matters. This game definitely matters. We win this game, it means that we have the divisional spot, which means we're probably taking on the Canucks instead of having to take on a team, either having to take on the Golden Knights or the Avs. I guess it would be Vegas. So we want to win this game because facing the Canucks is going to be easier than facing the Vegas Golden Knights, although I will say they have a very similar record, so it's not going to be too crazy. But here we are. This game matters. Last game of the season. Let's jump in and see what we can do. We beat the Kings in a thriller. We came back by 3 goals just a couple of minutes ago. So let's get another win, although hopefully it'll be a little more concrete for us this time. First period, 1-0 for LA. That's how the first game, or the last game that we played against them, started as well. Just they scored in the second period. Let's have an explosive second here. We only had 3 shots in that period, so let's wake up and let's put some shots on the net. Second period now, that's what I'm talking about. The boys come through. It's the first line. Capo Caco and Matty Beniers scoring on Darcy Kemper. Third period underway, and in both of these games against LA, our first line has really showed up for us. Let's hope they can continue that power play. 5-on-3, boys, and Chandler Stevenson is going to score. The second unit power play comes through clutch to give us a 2-goal lead with 10 minutes remaining. Now we have to rely on Joey Daccord, but the power play of LA comes through. Adrian Kempe, and now another power play for us. The refs do not put away their whistles. A power play late, and Jordan Eberle scores a empty netter. Kaliev brings one back, but it doesn't matter at that point. We have clinched our divisional spot against the LA Kings with that win. Kako with 2 points, Kempe with 3 points, Kopitar with 2 points. It doesn't matter to me. We get the W on the schedule, and the Seattle Kraken, for the second time in franchise history, have made the playoffs, going 44-32-6. Let's sim a couple of games until everybody has completed their 82, and then we can take a look at the schedule to see, or sorry, not the schedule. We'll take a look at the stats around the league and see who did what, who are the league leaders in things like points and goals and all that stuff. And also, how do our team stats look? Because I think our goals against average really became a decent spot for us compared to where it was in the halfway point. So let's go into the entire league, and let's see. The New York Rangers. Wow, Rangers fans, didn't you wish that was the case in real life? They are tied with Colorado, although they do win the President's Trophy 55-21-6. They had more regulation plus overtime wins, I guess. So congratulations, New York Rangers fans. Where do we finish in the entire league? Vegas is 7th with 49 wins. That is scary. The East is so good. Look at this. All top 5 teams, all top 6 teams are Eastern Conference teams. Oh my gosh. So Florida, Tampa, Carolina, New Jersey, Avalanche, and Rangers. Oh, sorry. The Avs are not an Eastern Conference team. So 5 out of the top 6 teams are from the East. We are the 10th best team in the league, so I'll take that, man. 10th best team. LA is the 11th best team, and they're in a wild card. Edmonton is the 12th best team, and they're in a wild card. And then Utah, Dallas. Wow. So the Central is really not that good. Look at this. Minnesota and Nashville, 15 and 16, get screwed out of a playoff spot. The Ottawa Senators make it. Let's go, Sens. And Boston also makes it. 17 and 18 make it because the West we had like that depth, but we didn't have the top end that the East had. Craziness, man. Really crazy. Other teams, Winnipeg misses out on the playoffs despite being like the best team in the real world, or one of the best teams anyways. Any other weird ones that miss? Pittsburgh misses out crazily. What is Crosby doing out there? They only scored 2.5 points, 4 goals for per game. That's crazy. St. Louis misses drastically, and Calgary also misses crazy. Wow, 21 wins on the season. That is not good. That is not good at all. What about our stats? So we had 3.24 goals for per game. That puts us where? Top 10, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, top 10 in the league in goals for per game. Goals against came down huge. That's brilliant, man. We are like tied for 6th best in the league. That's amazing. 7th best or 6th best in the league. Yeah, that's amazing, man. Our goals against really came down, so I'm loving that. 15% power play is not good. It's the 8th worst in the league, so that's not great. But penalty kill, we have a good penalty kill, right? Yeah, we're top 10, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're top 12. Okay, so we have a decent penalty kill. We have a bad power play. At home, we have a bad home record. Only 18, 19, and 4. On the road, we are gods, 26, 13, and 2. And our last 10 weren't that great, but it was good enough to clinch a spot for us. So I'm a happy camper, boys. 10th best in the league, and we got a divisional spot. Now, looking at our team stats here, you know, there's positives and negatives. Beniers and McCann, when they were together, they were roughly point per game. When we split them up, 69 points for Beniers, 68 for McCann. Looks a little bit weird, but I will say the team played much better when we split these guys up. Oliver Bjorkstrand had 61 points plus 4 playing second line time, I believe, with Jared McCann. Brennan Montour, 58 points. Great season from Brennan Montour. Is this a career high for him? No, it's not. In Florida, he had 73, so probably not going to beat that, but still, great season. Jordan Eberle with 56 on the year playing second line time. That is his third best season of all, fifth best season of all time. Okay, we'll take it. He's had a pretty good career. Better than I expected. Eli Tolvanen with 55 points. That is the best for him. We love to see that, a career year for Eli Tolvanen. Capo Caco with 53. Did he break out on the scene as a first-line player? We don't really know. It's probably a bit too early to tell, but a great season from him nonetheless. Yanni Gourde was a point every other game, playing third-line time. Andre Burakovsky was 40 points in 82 games. Can't complain. Chandler Stevenson, want to see a little bit more from him, especially because his contract is so bad. We just have to wait until 2028, and then we can trade him to a team, man. Vince Dunn with 35 points plus 17 for him. Great stuff. Adam Larson was a plus 40, was Adam Larson. Plus 40 is insane. Eric Johnson was plus 18. What did he do with us? Plus 5 with us. Great. So that third line was paying off very well for us. He's a plus 5. Great to see. Shane Wright, 24 points only in his rookie year. That's not great. I gotta find him some more time, man. I gotta find him some more time. Jimmy Alexiak with 27 points. Riker Evans ended up being a 0. He was like minus 12 at the halfway point, so I'll take that. Ty Cartier, 17 points plus 9. Brendan Tanev plus 11 points minus 2. And then Matt Nieto, I don't think played any games for us. No, he did not, but he did have 10 points with Pittsburgh. So good season all around from us. I'm very happy with how the boys did. Now we check the goalie stats, and look at this guy. Joey Daccord found his groove late in the season, man. 916 save percentage, 2.72. At the start of this episode, he had like a 905 and like 3.08 goals against average or something along those lines. So to have a 916, he was playing amazing down the stretch. And that's what we're going to need in the playoffs as well. Man, if you watch the intro to this series, you would see Philip Grubauer was a big part of the reason why they did so well. All around the league now, Austin Matthews is the Hart Trophy winner with 123 points. Mitch Marner had 117. Panarin had 113. McKinnon with 110. Pasta with 104. And then Zibanejad with 101. Rangers fans, Mika Zibanejad scores 101 points. That's funny. McKinnon is going to win the Rocky Richard with 54 goals on the year. Who had the best plus minus? Is plus 40 up there? Plus 40 is up there. Yeah, Adam Larson is in top 10 plus minus. I will take that. That's great. Who else had good seasons? Let's take a look at some other guys here. Draisaitl only with 96. Tavares with 95. Sure. Bedard with 94. Uh-huh. Kucherov only with 92 for Kucherov, but he only played 77 games, I guess. Sebastian Aho, Zach Hyman with 89. What a backboard. What a backboard. Kyle Connor with 86. That's cool. Wyatt Johnston with 86. That's also pretty cool. JT Miller. Okay, the rest of the guys are there. Let's check defensemen now. How is Kale doing? Oh my gosh. So Kale missed out on 27 games, and he almost won the Norris. That's crazy. Quinn Hughes had 80 and 82. Adam Fox had 76. Brent Burns had 75. Brent Burns had 75. Yeah, right, game. Yeah, right. He's 40 years old. Evan Bouchard with 72. Cale Makar with 70 points in 55 games played. He's getting my Norris vote. He is getting my Norris vote, man. I know that the Norris shouldn't just be who's the best offensive defenseman. I understand that, but he missed 27 games, and he's top 5 in points. Come on, bro. Come on. This guy's a stud. That's crazy, man. The simulation loves Kale. That's insane. Any of our boys? Where is... Yeah, Brendan Montour is here. He's in, top 15, top 20 defenseman. We'll take it. And then goalies... Who is here in the goalies? Igor Shesterkin had a great season, as did Andrei Vasilevsky. Mackenzie Blackwood is there. Jacob Markstrom with 40 wins on the season. Good for him. Joey Daccord is here with 38 wins, 916 save percentage. He's in the mix with the best goalies in the league, man, with his save percentage at least. I love that, man. Joey Daccord, let's go, baby. Let's go. And then rookie skaters, who is going to win your Calder? It's probably Macklin Celebrini winning the Calder. 53 points in 82 games. Good rookie season. He's up to an 85 overall. He's a playmaker. Love to see it. Michkov got 37 points, still at that 82 overall. Maxim Siplikov, 80 overall, still. Cutter Gauthier, Maverick Bork, Will Smith, Lane Hudson with 19 points and has a minus 20. They do Lane Hudson. It's so dirty, man. This guy's a great defenseman. Will Smith with 21 points, minus 6. Not great. And then all the other guys down here. Any rookie goalies to speak of? Yaroslav Askarov brought his numbers back. Dustin Wolf had some really rough numbers. Uses the Noonan, pretty good numbers. Cool. The rookie's probably going to go to Macklin Celebrini. But now, boys, it is time to find out who will we face in round number 1. Let me move the standings away in case you already know. I feel like we already know who it's going to be. And it's going to be a battle, I think, in the first round. We are facing... Okay, hang on. That's a Coachella player. No worries. Regular season is over. We are facing the Vancouver Canucks. Elias Pettersson, Thatcher Demko, Quinn Hughes winning the Norris probably. We've got a tough test in front of us, but if you know anything about Seattle Kraken hockey, it's that they can be the underdogs and they can come through and shock the world as we did a few seasons ago against the Colorado Avalanche. So Vancouver, watch yourselves.